Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I'm Jason Sterling. This is Sims 4. We're going to do some building today here on live stream. As soon as I make sure we're actually up and running. We're going to do some building today here on live stream. As soon as I make sure we're actually up and running. Okay, so that does seem to be working. Let me go ahead and get it set up here. Okay. So I'm trying out a new sort of slightly new streaming system today. Camera and audio setup. It has been a little bit wonky, like a little bit off. So I hope that it matches up well enough. Like the audio has been a little bit off of the video a little bit. But I think I got it fixed. I hope it's working. I've been using it to record some video as well. So I really hope it's starting to finally come along. What is coming along is this build, the Kowloon Walled City. Or at least my in-game Sims version of that for anybody who is not familiar. The Kowloon Walled City was a particular area of Hong Kong. And it was basically the most densely populated area of the world. It was a completely, I guess you could call it organic form of building in that it built with essentially no controls on its growth over a period of several decades. It was a basically a place that was in a state of anarchy as well. There was no real civic government in place. Well, there was no real civic government in place. There wasn't one. You had some local gangs that managed some sort of control over their various sectors in the building. But as far as its place within Greater Hong Kong, because it was in Hong Kong, the British didn't claim it, and the Chinese didn't really claim it. It was technically a piece of Chinese territory, kind of a splinter in the British territory of Hong Kong. Nobody really claimed it, so there was no real legal authority over the area, and people pretty much did what they wanted. Whether it was building, manufacturing, running drugs and prostitution and gambling, so on and so forth. It was pretty much what we consider a lawless region. It's about 7 acres big, held anywhere, depends on who you ask, depends on how they figure their numbers, held anywhere from 30 to 50,000 people in that 7-acre area in roughly 14 to 15-story buildings. There was a sort of outdoor area, right? Not exactly in the middle, but we'll call it the heart of that development. There was still some space that was open to the air, but most of the space was closed in. So a lot like we see, say here, where you would enter what had been a street and it was like just entering into a building. But it was basically where buildings had come together and people just built over the street and just filled in the spaces between buildings until it was one solid block of just a wide variety of different buildings, kind of an amalgamation just stuck together. Okay, so that's the history of this particular place, Kowloon Walled City. Today, I want to build a sort of factory. We're going to do juice production here, right? Probably a production sort of facility back in here. Storage and transport through here, and maybe a retail front here. Retail or distribution front in this space. I think I will make this area, this is a sort of altar area, a sort of I mean, kind of a temple. I based it on the idea of a temple. I saw a picture once of an area in Kowloon of a temple, right? And it had been in this sort of like courtyard area. And even it eventually had been built over. So the temple was still sitting there, freestanding in the middle of this courtyard. But someone had built over it and just kept building up. So I wanted to do the sort of same idea here with this, where you have what originally would have been an open sort of environment temple that people would come and visit. And over time, it just got surrounded and covered over. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to come out here, and most of this stuff we'll just go ahead and take out. My thought is that we will remove this and this and this. I really want to see kind of a transport lane through here down to this area with storage here through this area, right? And let's take this out. So that it might act as almost an outdoor courtyard out here. And with that being the case, we could go ahead and probably put these walls back in like this. If you've watched a little bit of this build, I have done some other things since the last live stream. I added this veterinarian office here and a place to get food. Now, neither place is completely done, but it kind of gives you an idea of if I can get around here. This is a heavily built up area here of Willow Creek. If I can get around here, kind of gives you an idea of what we're going for. The veterinarian was to kind of, well, there probably were veterinarians in Kowloon City, but also to give the impression of a lot of people that settled there were, say, Chinese refugees after the communist takeover. And so they fled here to Hong Kong. And a lot of them were professional people that were like dentists or doctors, but they couldn't afford, say, the licensing requirements in Hong Kong as a refugee. And maybe they couldn't afford additional schooling that was required by Hong Kong licensing requirements. So they set up practice in Kowloon City. And they were a lot cheaper, easy to get into. Now, we don't really have dentistry in the game, right? And most of our medical stuff looks brand new. But the veterinarian stuff does have some pieces that are kind of old and worn out. So I decided to open a vet's office with, an outside door to the rest of the world. And you could come here, maybe get veterinary care a lot cheaper because it's essentially unlicensed. But, it was still people that did know what they were doing. They just had come from a different area and couldn't afford to undertake the requirements for this new area. Now, in some cases, as the decades progressed, some of the people that were working in here, say as a dentist, they actually had never been formally trained. They were just trained by their fathers or even grandfathers. So they're like second, third generation immigrant refugees to Hong Kong. They're still working here in Kowloon because, again, probably no money to go get proper education, and they could just do it there. And there was no sort of civic oversight, so there was no problem with just going ahead and doing as you wanted. We're going to go ahead and put in, I am not sure here. My thought was maybe to use this stuff, right? To create a sort of fence line through here. And I guess that is what we could do. That doesn't look too bad. Let me put that in here and see what we get going. Might go ahead and take some sort of metal style surface here. Something like this maybe. And let's go ahead and make the wall. We'll make this pony wall a little bit higher. Not a little bit higher, actually a lot higher. Enough to cover that window. Like that. Let's do like that there. Like Do. And I would like to see this courtyard kind of stretch its entire length. Let's see here. Do. I thought I would put some windows here, looking from these apartments, because originally this would have been an open courtyard, by this temple. Maybe your first apartments here would have had a view down into it. And then eventually, like I said, it was kind of covered over. So they no longer have a view, of course. Grab some windows here. Kind of want to give the impression, of course, that these were the original balconies of these particular apartments, or in this case, kind of patios of these apartments. Maybe they were storefronts, something of that nature. That later owners have just simply kind of, walled in a little bit more with these grills to keep people out. Mm-hmm. We could do something kind of like that. I think I will. I think we'll go ahead and put that there for now, and then kind of decide what I think about it afterwards. I don't know if it matches that well. I don't know if I love it, but I kind of like it. I mean, I think it's sort of where I want to head with this. I'm going to look and see. Here we go. This sort of stuff here. Let's put this chain link here, here, and here. So again, it definitely kind of seals off this area. My thought is to take a really large kind of archway here. Maybe something like that. It seems a little bit like they kind of just took the wall out, but I might want it to be a little bit nicer than that and look a little bit more tailored. Let's see here. But that's a pretty good size opening, and that is kind of what I'm going for. Now we have something like this that's really too big. And we've got this. I've used this in a few places as well. The thing is, it's almost too small. So I'm kind of at a loss. You know, I'm kind of like Goldilocks with bowls of porridge. It's like it's too big, too small, too big. Let's take this stuff out. Do. I did put some stairs in here in order to give us access to the second floor. That has been a change since last time. Kind of fit some stairs in here by one of the water sources for the building. There are not a lot of water sources for the building. In the original Kowloon City, there were 6 points that water came into the building from the outside world. You either had to go to one of those points, basically was a faucet, right? And get water and take it to where you were going. Or if you were wealthy enough, maybe you could run pipes there to have the water more directly delivered to your apartment. But most people walked down or walked over to get the water they needed. I do kind of like that there, but I think we will put in a window as well here. Couple of windows. Let's see what we've got going. We could do something like that, of course. Got something like that for ventilation. Or this. This might actually work pretty well. From Horse Ranch, of course, got these kind of horse stall style windows. You know, something that kind of lets you see through, but doesn't let you go through, right? Does not let you crawl through that space in any fashion. Okay, so back over here, we're going to take this wall out. And I'm going to try to find, speaking of Horse Ranch, let's go ahead and grab, I want to move that. I don't know where. My thought was to try to put like a fish factory in here. We don't really have anything to be a fish factory, but it was pretty common in Kowloon City to gut fish and prepare fish, you know, fillet fish for sale to outside sources. So I did think of trying to do something like that, but there's just nothing in game that's realistic to use. However, we do have nectar making. So let's grab a bunch of different pieces here of stuff that we all need. This was a lot of fun. I had a really good time nectar making when I was doing Horse Ranch, you know, when it first came out. I really did like it, and I think that's why it kind of sticks with me right now to put it in here, because I did like it. It was a lot of fun. Whoops. I'm not real sure on the flooring. Part of me wants to leave it as wood. Part of me says, well, maybe we should do something more like a concrete or a tile, like this stuff here that we have everywhere. The concrete, though, I don't know. It just always looks very flat, very new, like we just poured it type of stuff. So we'll take a look here and see what we've got going on. I mean, option-wise, we could do something like this. Maybe. That's really not too bad. It doesn't look too bad. Let's see if we can find something to throw up on the walls. Again, something kind of old, something kind of worn out. Or maybe this. Now, this is not bad. Let's look at this. It's very kind of industrial. Let's also, we're going to pull in some decorative stuff from the Horse Ranch pack. Mm-hmm. You know, stuff like this, some boxes. In fact, I'd like to do a lot of boxes out here. I'm going to put this more up here, maybe as part of our retail distribution section. Kind of slide that in there like that. Make it look like it's not exactly perfect, a little off kilter. It's kind of slid into place. Let's see what else we can grab. Let's see. I'm going to need some sort of small pass-through for here, and here. I wonder if that would work. I kind of like that idea, and then it would slide across and you could pass through, you know, so it provides a little bit of security. You know, these kind of like different checkpoints, but I don't know if I think it'll work. I think it'll be okay. Let's go ahead and leave that in there. Okay, so I think there are several types of different, advertisements here. I'm going to save some of that for this sort of distribution side. Let's see. That might be about it. I mean, I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot else associated with winemaking here. I would like to tuck one of these in someplace as a sort of sidewalk, sort of, you know, food stand maker. But I don't know if I have room here on the first floor any longer. If I was prepared to do something like that, maybe. I'm going to leave it there for now, and then we'll come back to it and decide here in a little bit. Let's see here. I would love to be able to go through and do enough bottles of wine that I could fill up all of this, but I don't think that's going to happen. It'd take a long time. Do. I'm thinking I should put something on the walls again, like maybe something like this, something that looks a little bit like instructions, right? Of how to go about making this stuff. And nothing too fun. We don't want it to look too good, but we definitely would want something that has the impression of instructions on it, what you need to do, how you're supposed to do it. Let's look over here. Mm-hmm. I don't think they probably clean up a lot around here, but I'm still going to throw in that broom and dustpan just in case they need it. Since this is kind of a manufacturing concern, I'm going to go ahead and leave these sinks here. I've been pulling the sinks out by and large, but another reason why I put this here is because there is ready water right here, like a ready water supply. So if this is one of the 6 taps into the building, that brings water in from the outside, it kind of makes sense that a factory that would use water and need water might set up in here. And then they went ahead and, ran some connections for sinks directly within their space. Speaking of directly within their space, so I'm going to have to figure out a way for the people to get into their space because people are going to have to get to work. So I guess what I need to do is probably put a door here. And then you could also come in from down here. Let's grab a door real quick and we'll put it in here. Just something simple, kind of like that. I don't know. Sims ought to scoot past that, I think, pretty easily. Yeah, they ought to. Let's just offset it a little bit. Again, it looks like people just kind of put it there naturally. Set it down. They didn't try to get it exactly perfect. Now I'm still looking for things to put in that'll be something like instructions or rules or things you have to follow. Something like this here is not too bad. Let's see. Maybe with quotas on it or something like that. Because you have to imagine, even though this is Kowloon, walled city, they probably still have, like, if anything, they probably have even stricter quotas. Like, you probably really have to get stuff done. because there's no oversight, there's no civic oversight. So your boss can just do whatever he wants, basically. Not seeing a lot else so far. Maybe something like this could go on here. Some sort of sign looks vaguely, kind of like a warning sign, right? And then we'll try to line those up so it looks like they are the same piece, right? Like so. That ought to work pretty well. I'm going to need to put in a lot more of these sort of, pipes, things like that. We really don't have power lines to run everywhere. Not in any sort of, reasonable fashion. So, but we do have pipes. So we're definitely going to put in some pipes, here and there. Probably a little warning sign there. Don't go any further. Don't go there if you're not supposed to be there. That's not too bad. That's coming along okay. One thing I do want to throw in real quick is a whole bunch of like this sort of stuff, like gunk. Because I figure you're going to get a lot of splash over. So we're going to throw in quite a bit of splash over, Let's see here. There should be like some, stuff from, there we go. Strangerville. Let's put some of that up here around where these pipes connect to the wall. Like, maybe they're not connected quite good enough to the wall, right? So we're getting a little bit of leakage around there. There, gives us a little more realism kind of tucked in the back there. I want to see how dark this area is going to be at nighttime. Obviously, during the day, seems to be plenty of light. At night, there's almost too much light. The thing is, these bulbs are really bright. I think I will put the bulbs in here because it does make sense. Like over this production facility, they're probably going to have some light fixtures, that you can really see what you're doing. In here, I think where they're doing cleanup, they probably don't care as much. Kind of my thought on it. Column there. Now, what I want to do and what I'm going to do is replicate this look all the way up the side of the building. That could get to be too much too fast because these are supposed to be 4 apartments, but at the same time, well, I think that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, it definitely could become too much pretty quickly. And in that case, I'll take some of it out. Let's see here. Come on. I'm not sure that I want to copy and paste like that. I'm not sure it's going to work out. I mean, it might. Kind of works. I think that works okay. Let's see here. For the moment, I think it works okay. I don't know that I love it. I mean, I had this sort of idea in my head that I might love it, but I mean, looking at it, I'm thinking, yeah, it's okay. It's not going to be kind of like, maybe I'll come up with something better. But this does have a definite sort of caged feeling, which certainly ties into the Kowloon, walled city. The way it was designed and kind of the way it ended up being implemented, it definitely felt like everything was kind of caged in, even when you had an outdoor sort of balcony like this. A lot of times they had these heavy sort of screens on them, kind of really put you in a cage. Now, then, let's see here. And up we go. There we are. Okay, so we've kind of framed in, this part of this building over here, that little section, right? To give it kind of the look we're going for. I might change it. Like I said, it is very heavy right now. It's very just almost claustrophobic in its heaviness. But, you know, this isn't a garden spot. This isn't supposed to be someplace nice. This was people's, you know, home of last resort type of place. Now, my thought here on the side, I don't know. I want to give it a little bit of a setback just because I don't want this to look too much like a just square block, right? So, you know, on this side, I feel like it works pretty well because it does have some ins and out, right? A little bit of undulating type of movement in the structure. It's not just a flat front box. So maybe if we come down here and we pull this in like this, pull that in like that. Oh, you know what? I do want that stuff. I almost forgot. I am trying to set up a liquor store here. Okay, let's keep that stuff. Let me get rid of this stuff. The broom we're going to keep. And the idea will be that this corner building insets one and then has a balcony area like this. So you're going to be looking at something kind of like that. And I guess we could go ahead and take this chain link fence down. We'll go up here and we're going to do the same sort of cut in where we'll pull this back, take that out. It actually moved those doors with it. I don't think I want the doors with it. I'll look at that here in a little bit. I do want to go ahead and put windows on both sides of this courtyard though. We'll grab this here and then bring it across here. We'll take all of this excess stuff out. Except for Okay, so that's all going to go. We've got double doors there. Take one of those out. We're going to take out all of this here. For now, we're going to take out this as well. And that as well. So like that. Was my thought at the moment. At the moment, that's what I think we're going to head for. We're going to take this out, bring it around there, let's get rid of that. So that that side comes in a little bit and it doesn't look quite so monolithic. I mean, it should look monolithic. It is Kowloon Walled City. Yes, it should, but we also want a little bit of a non-perfectly flat front like we get in The Sims. We want it to look a little bit like it moves in and out. So let's see here. Let's do the rest of it. We'll pull this in. Pull that in. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to leave this structural pole there. And I might try to figure out a way to bring, we'll see, something out and around it. I would love to do power lines around this, but maybe we could do pipes of some sort instead. Okay, so then that's going to be our kind of corner area there. Not too bad. It looks almost a little bit too nice and too modern. But I think after we junk it up a little bit, I think we can put some, air conditioner things and other sort of electrical looking, maybe transformer style boxes and stuff in this area. It's going to really give us that dystopian look that we're looking for. Let's drop back down here and take a look at our store. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is move this stuff out of my way. So I'm kind of look at what I've got going here. My thought is that we create kind of a big opening here, right? And we go ahead and put something to use as a counter, like this sort of stuff, all along here. So it's very much a walk-up sort of place. You're just going to walk up to this sort of counter. Let's see. And I might turn this into a fence with a gate. It's kind of my thought on that. Let me move this stuff out of the way. So they could come from the door, you know, back here to the back. One thing we could also do, though, would be to just extend this out even further. We'll do it like that. We'll go ahead and we'll cover it in metal, and then we'll do the same sort of treatment to it with this perforated window. And if I can grab the panel to the metal there, we'll throw that in place. Like so. And my thought is to go ahead and pull this the rest of the way down. Let's see if we do this. Yeah, we could use that here. We'll put it in this spot, maybe make it a little bit smaller, raise it up like so. I've used this brick with plaster over it an awful lot. Truth be told, I think I'll probably go back and change some of that out in the end so that it doesn't look so much alike, because each of these buildings pretty much should be different, right? I mean, they were all built by and large by different people over time. I do want it to have a very organic sort of feel. I don't know if I'm going to put, I don't think I'll put any windows there. I think what I'll do is maybe go ahead and grab this decal and put it on this side as a sort of advertisement as well. Advertising the different sort of liquor, they've got, right? Something like that back there. Gives it a little bit of a graffiti type of feel. Let's take that and we'll put it back here. Come on. Maybe we'll go ahead and grab a little bit of this too, put it up here on the counter. Over there. We might put a few more things up on the counter, some bottles and stuff. We're going to definitely put a lot more of these back here. We could use some sort of signage, and I think I'll go ahead and put maybe awnings out over this. Maybe that would help fill in kind of this space here and also give it that sort of dimension that I'm looking for on the outside of the building. A lot of our awnings look really way too new, you know, but maybe something like this. So it'd come out like that, you know? Hmm. It does look kind of new. It does have kind of a new look. Let's try for something like this. How about that? That's a little bit new looking too. We've got that sort of stuff. That sort of stuff. I also, though, do want something that's going to kind of fit the vibe of the area. We're going to try that. I don't really want something that's going to look like the Old West, you know? That also doesn't really work. I mean, we have this stuff. I do like that. I've used that already. I could use it again. That's for sure. Put that up there. That doesn't really do it, does it? No, not really. You know, I guess we could try doing an actual roof there instead of these awnings. Let's see. Let's try taking a roof. Which one, which kind? Maybe this. Didn't want to turn around. That's weird. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work, of course, because we're going to be able to see it in here. Which, I don't know. I mean, I kind of like this, though, right? If I do it, I don't think I'll be able to use the balcony there, but does that matter? And maybe if I want to give the look that we do use the balcony, I can just cover it in something like that. Let me take that out. Maybe this might work. Grab another version of it and put it over here. And then we could bring, we could raise this up a little bit. I don't know if we can bring it out any further. No. But we can extend it in this fashion. So we get kind of a nice overhang there. Can do some really old looking stuff. We can do metal, like a metal roof, kind of like that. That's probably a little bit closer to the look I want. We can, let's throw on the dark gray molding there. Something like that. Okay, so now we've got kind of a little storefront here starting to shape up with lots of liquor, which if you live here, you probably need a little bit of that to get through your day, or maybe a lot, They've got a lot of it stacked up here for you. I definitely could see where, I'm going to give you a pass if you have to live here for that. But we'll have that set up, and then it connects to storerooms, kind of a pass through back here to where they actually make the stuff, right? And then we'll have our sort of corner units here. I'm going to just keep on using this pretty and plaster exterior. It just looks like what I need at the moment. But ideally, ideally I want to change it out with something else, ideally. Let me grab some windows. Actually, let's use these. Since I've got these on the other side, let's put them on this side as well. Kind of bar that in a little bit. Let's grab a door. One of the things I saw during a documentary that I did watch on Kowloon City was a lady that lived there, and she actually had, of course, a locking front door, but then she had another door that she locked on top of that one. We don't really have a way of doing that in game, but I think it would be really cool if I could, because they definitely were conscious of security. Let's put that there. I'd like to have another window here, but I don't think there's a window. Let me look and see if there's a window with the cowboy pack that kind of, is it this one? Does that kind of match? Not really. It's the wrong size. Let me see here. Yeah, there's nothing that really matches it. We've got, yeah, that's not going to work. So we've got this window, and then we've got this, which kind of matches it, but it's the wrong size. So, what to do? I could go ahead and put it in, even though it's the wrong size, and throw one of these bars over it. maybe that would make it look close enough to the right size that it wouldn't matter. And let's go ahead and we're going to copy this. We're going to move it up because I think I'm going to go ahead and see how does this look if we put these type of awnings, essentially is what they are, awnings, these sort of roof overhangs here, up the side of the building. Again, I mean, it looks pretty new to me. It looks a little bit new, a little bit too new, but maybe it will work. Do. Hopefully it gives us enough of something that looks different compared to this, right? Compared to that. That at least looks a little bit like two different buildings, you know? Okay, ideally I would like for that to be flush up against the wall. I don't think, well, part of the thing is, there we go. Now it's turning a little bit. Oh, okay. Well, that's part of the problem. I don't, I wouldn't want it to look like that sticking that far over into the balcony, and there's not really any way to resolve that. So even though it would kind of give me the look here I want, you know, along this wall, I'm not going to like the way it looks with the balcony as a whole there. I suppose that doesn't entirely matter, I guess. Well, So if I pull out here, what looks better? This or this? I don't know. I am going to leave it. Actually, I'm going to leave both in place. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave both in place, both ideas, and then I'll think about it. Right? I'll think about it, and whatever I decide, I can kind of come up with later on changing that around. I mean, I'm not entirely certain that I even love it the way it looks anyway, right? I kind of do. It does look, it has a certain amount of the look that I'm going for. So Let's leave it. Let's see if it grows on me. We'll see where we go from there. Okay, so down here. This is all set up and ready to go. I've got stairs leading up to the second floor. Mm-hmm. And I kind of would like to have the idea that this spot here on this end is also a different building from this one or this one. So it's a different structure. Okay, let's think about it for a minute. What would be a way of differentiating it from these other areas? You know, one thing I could do is maybe pull this back, this section back quite a ways. As though it sits back a good bit from the street. So then we'll get a little bit of a sort of pullback there, a little bit of a pullback on that particular part of the structure. And we can go in and maybe put in some awnings along there. Let's go ahead and we'll adjust the roof line here as well. Shoot. Sometimes it would be easier for me to just go and select this pony wall topper, whatever they call this stuff, stone wall trim, right? Just like this, rather than fight with it and try to select it with the eyedropper. Okay, so there we go. We've got our segment there pulled back a little bit. Now, somehow I think we keep losing windows. I don't know how. Okay, so there we go. We've got a little bit of a shape kind of coming on with this particular structure. So let's see if we have an awning here we can use. I think, I don't know. Didn't they show awnings, but they might have been base game in the trailer. I feel like there were awnings, but maybe there were these on the trailer, like on that primary apartment building they had. Let's see here. I like how far that sticks out, but it's too big because it slides into these apartments, these balconies. Guess one thing I could do is I could pull back this segment as well. And then we would have something along the lines of, a double size balcony there. Okay, I might have to use some tool mod on that to take care of the stutter there, but I do think that will give me more of what I think I might be looking for out of this particular part of the build. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just move everything back. We could try different awnings on there. Like we could take something like this. Put that on there. I guess looking awfully chunky, awfully fast though. We have this. Make it twice as wide. That actually fills up the whole space. So we won't need any sort of tool mod to balance it out. Again, the wood looks a little chunky underneath it, but that looks pretty good. That weathered look there, that looks really good where it's weathered. So I'm thinking that instead of this, if I can get it down there, just drop down. Shoot, come on. Okay, did that work? Did that get it? I hope that got it. Actually, I do kind of like this darker here. Maybe we should fill up most of what we're going to consider that particular building with that. I could also use this in the smaller form would work. Like that. Do 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 do. That looks so bright right there. It's so bright red. Is that the way it looks? I guess that's the way it looks in the sunlight, isn't it? Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. That looks all right. We're going to bring, I think, all of this around as though it's the same building. So we'll take all that. I might change out that archway there. I'm not sure. Let's bring down. One thing I might do as well, I wouldn't mind having a higher fence type of setup here. Not as high as this sort of fencing, but maybe, I don't think we have anything, but maybe that would just stick above this awning, but not cover the whole area. And I'm thinking of making this a little bit see-through as well, maybe using like, I don't know, the slate, slat things we got, right? Let's take a look here. There it is. So maybe if we put this here and we take the wall out. Can I delete just the wall? I should be able to delete just the wall. There we go. Shoot. Would this be easier taking the wall out and then placing that slate? Yeah, maybe, but we're almost done here. Let's take that part out. So we have a little bit of a see-through area there. And then here in this part, we don't. Maybe they sealed it up. We'll pretend they sealed it up when they put in their factory and put in some venting there. But we could go ahead and bring it up the side of the building. Come on. We will put that there. We'll put it there, and then here in a little bit, I can use a tool mod to move it around a little bit. Come on. There we go. If it seems like it's going to be something, that I'm even going to like. Okay. Which I don't know. I don't know. That seems a little bit. It's not really what I'm thinking of for that part of the building. In a lot of ways, it looks way too new for some reason when it's there on the edge. I don't mind it here. I don't mind it there really at all. In fact, I think I might even put this here and then take out the wall. And then maybe put like a metal, maybe put metal there. Maybe put the wall back. Because maybe what we could do is just change it like this so it looks like, they just sealed up that area, right? And now I'll use the tool mod to slide the vent out ever so slightly. Maybe even if we made it bigger, that might help. Kind of like that. Actually, the vent would fall right about there now. Yeah. We could put the vent there. I feel like we kind of need something to run up the side here. I mean, obviously we can use a column. The columns do kind of disappear, as you get close, which I don't really like. But given that we don't have a lot of other options, that might be where we end up. Still not real sure about these awnings either. I mean, I like the awnings, but I'm not sure that I don't want them to be smaller, be the smaller version of themselves. All right, and let's grab this and paint the inside of these balconies down here. So not too bad. I'm going to need to paint the ceilings under there, of course. Thankfully, we have ceiling paint now. Those will get painted. And I think we could go ahead and put some windows here along the outside of this building. So I just need some old, worn out looking windows here for this part of the build. These aren't too bad. I mean, I guess we could maybe go with these. That's definitely going to have to be changed out, I think. It doesn't really match Doesn't really match the rest of that building any longer. Let's see what we've got going on here. The same stuff we've had going on. Now we could do something like that maybe, right? Because that definitely has more of the feel of this type of building. We got something like this. I don't know if it's going to look rough enough. Yeah, it looks too new, too nice. Mm-hmm. Something like that, of course. That's almost too rough. It's almost too rustic. I need that great middle ground's what I'm looking for. Now we've got something like this. We could do a double door. Like that, right? So we could do a double door. A lot of times the entrances though to the walled city were kind of just open, like like these archways, just like archways. I'm gonna got this. I've used this all over so far. And part of its problem is it's almost a little bit too big. So there are all these different reasons to use or not use certain things. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Let me look at this. Simple keystone arch type of setup. I mean, I guess we could go with that, right? For the moment, that's really not too bad. It is pretty simple looking, but we could dress it up a little bit here, put in some, let's see here, maybe some sort of awning or something. Let's see. Okay, we could do something like this. That entryway or awning, got that. That is obviously Star Wars. Is it too Star Wars for this entrance? I don't know. It looks like a nightclub kind of entrance. Maybe that would work. Some of these roughed up looking tiles around it. Do. Hey, son. Come here. What? I can hear you. You're what? Yeah, hang on a little bit. You hungry? Oh, it ends in an hour. Okay. I'll wrap up. I'm going to have to wrap up. Please hit like, subscribe, and notify. We'll work on this some more. Oh, maybe tonight, but definitely tomorrow. My son is both hungry and it is Marweep Community Day with Pokemon Go. So let me see here. I would love to find something to use here real quick before I do go. I don't know if I'm going to find anything, but I would love to find something that would fit here just really fast for this particular thing. But I have almost no time. Let's see. Maybe that. Okay, let me check out what we've got here. That's not too bad. I think I can go with that. All right, that kind of gives me a look there. We're going to go with that. I'm going to put some sort of signage above the door. Maybe drape it a little bit with a flag or something, a lot like I did over here. And then we are getting a whole lot closer to this building, looking like an amalgamation of different buildings, kind of stuck together, all built up against each other. This is looking pretty good. I do like these a whole lot better, smaller than I did larger. That's for sure. I do like that. Back over here, this is still a toss-up. I'm going to have to decide on that, how we're going to handle that. But all in all, it's not too bad. And this is looking a little less flat. A little less flat-fronted, like, you know, like a new modern built all at once building. It's looking a little bit more like it was, you know, built over time. So again, please hit like, subscribe, and notify. I will be back to work on this more later. And in the meantime, as always, thank you for watching.